This is Kate Baconsale. You're listening to Baconsale.
Baconsale is our show. It's the show. A pop culture podcast, as you know. Ken, Joel, and Jacob, they fight a lot. They talk and they try to not offend and annoy each of you.
Well done.
Yay! And the crowd goes lukewarm.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Joel did another song.
At least it wasn't me this time. I think everyone's happy when I'm not singing.
I don't know. When you hit that note on episode 74, Soundtrack and Feels.
That note was like 2 seconds long,
it
too.
was very well done.
That one note.
Your gift was our song. Wait, your gift was... Our gift was your song.
We don't talk about Moulin Rouge anymore. That's in the past.
What?
Yeah, it's in the past.
I already saw it every day I talk about it.
I know.
Welcome to Baconsale, everyone. I'm Joel.
I'm Kent.
And Jacob.
Do we want to thank people for last week?
I was just debating that.
I don't want to thank you.
Why not me?
Look, you were so happy about last week's show. You reveled in last week's show because
a little bit.
What did it do? It brought all the hate back on me.
It did.
And
except,
it's true.
Except, for those of you who didn't notice, my own wife turned against me on Facebook and said Up and Ratatouille were boring, and we've had words.
I think she is wonderful.
We had words.
We had words.
And she's like, I just needed to say it. It's so boring. And I'm like, how dare you?
She is truly your better half. So when will she be on the show?
She said she'd never come on.
Taking your place. Because that would be great.
The women of Baconsale.
We need a girl on the show.
Yeah.
Might as well have your wife.
Just talk in a higher pitch.
I still like the mom idea where we just have all of our moms come on and do the show once.
That would be awesome. Oh, man, next Mother's Day. We should totally do that and have them talk about whatever moms talk about.
I don't know.
My mom likes to quilt.
Everyone will be pretty confused, though.
My mom likes to talk.
Yeah?
Yeah, your mom could lead it.
Yeah, and what about your mom?
What does she like?
Not talkative, really, actually.
So it's going to be a good balance.
It's exactly the show. Same thing. You like to quilt. I like to talk a lot. And
no, my mom likes
to,
quips and pushes boundaries sometimes, but
just barely. There we go.
She keeps it family.
Just like you.
So,
just
Jacob,
like me.
What are we talking about today?
Today is Soundtrack and Feels Part 2, the Soundtrackoning.
Is that what we're calling it?
It's personal.
Maybe.
Yes, if you listen to episode 74, Soundtrack and Feels, back in September of last year, we talked about some of our favorite soundtracks and scores. And Kent had so many categories he wanted to get through.
A lot.
We only got through about 21 last time.
Listener,
only 21.
If you like this show half as much as these two guys like talking about it, you will love this show.
People are passionate about soundtracks. I brought it up in a meeting today. Just as kind of passing, hey, we're talking about favorite soundtracks. What are some of your favorite soundtracks? We talked for a half hour about soundtracks. And they were just throwing out ones that I hadn't even thought of. In fact, one of them they brought up, I went, I need to put that on my list, and I had to kick something else off.
Oh, really?
Because the way it works is that we have a series of categories, which came from mostly Ken's mind. So if you don't like him, it's his fault.
What?
And
we both like the show.
We do.
We both like my mind.
Where is your mind?
With my feet in the clouds.
But we have these categories. Like last time, it was best John Williams score and song and score that made you want to dance and soundtrack of the 90s.
And you actually
like
did dance too.
I did dance last time.
Yeah. So I remember when we did the show, we were like, hopefully that was good. But I really think it was a great episode from last year. Maybe
I really enjoyed it.
Tier 2 or above.
It was one of our...
Welcome back to another Tier 2 show.
A sequel to a Tier 2 show.
It was one of our first ventures into extreme audio editing, shall we say?
That's true.
Extreme audio editing.
So we're going to try this again. And the rules are, and I'm going to blame Joel for this one.
Okay.
Because I think you and we both have favorites of all these categories. But the problem is a lot of our favorites are not going to show up because we cannot duplicate anything that was played in the last episode. Whether it was Joel's choice or my choice.
We ruled out both choices just so Kent won't give every award to Fight Club and I won't give every award to Slumdog Millionaire.
Right.
So
I can't even use Fellowship of the Ring or Return of the King. I could only use something from Two Towers.
If you were going to use
category.
anything, which you probably will, because let's face it, he loves Lord of the Rings.
He will.
Yes, I do.
More than life itself.
More than life itself?
That's what you told me.
I don't really value life very much, so
that's what you told me.
Two Towers.
You said, hey, let me give you $50 after we record this episode, and I love Two Towers more than life itself.
Okay.
That's how I heard it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Money bag's done.
So we're going to be going with things that may not be our first choices, but man, we think they're great choices.
And for the most part, I didn't have to duplicate. There was only one or two where I went, I can't pick this, so I had to pick something else.
Right.
So
Jake, you're going to read us off our categories, and we are going to try to play the music and see what happens.
Ooh, it's going to be very musical. All right, guys, are you ready for the first category?
No.
Okay,
Wait.
hold on. Let's talk about it.
Okay, yeah, now I am.
Now he is.
Yes.
Now he is. Best revenge music.
Revenge music.
Yeah, revenge music.
Kent, it's your show.
We're starting off with violence.
Is it cheating if I don't use a movie? That's my question.
Yes, these are film scores. Film soundtracks.
What if TV now is the same quality as
No,
movies?
that's a whole other show.
Remember how you cheated on something else? So
I did compilations.
Yeah, compilations. It was a big time cheat.
didn't-
I listened to the show.
Hey guys, does it count if I choose music that I made in my basement?
I wish I wrote this in my basement.
You're opening with TV.
Yeah,
I better be good.
it is good. This is
be
the
good.
song that inspires revenge.
And who are you, the proud Lord?
Oh,
That I
this is the reigns of. Am I gonna get stabbed?
I don't know, Joel.
Am I gonna get stabbed right now?
Are you going to get stabbed?
What is this?
The reigns of Castamere.
It is called The Reigns of Castamere. This is from Game of Thrones. And this is why
could I
I
guess
say
that part?
this is kind of a cheat.
It is a cheat, but as far as quality goes, Game of Thrones is pretty movie quality.
Yes, and that's really, like, they put so much money into the show. It's $10 million per episode. The episode this comes from is episode 9 of season 3.
Oh, under the hanging tree.
No, and then turn that into a pop song. Do you remember when that became a song, like a pop song?
Yeah.
Ugh.
When I'm gone, you're gonna miss me in the hanging tree when I'm gone. Cups, cups, cups.
I think we have our new closing track.
Cups.
Cups. So, Jake, you've never seen this. You've never seen this episode.
And you can't really talk about it without spoiling something pretty major in the show.
All I'm saying is that there is an event called the Red Wedding, and that is where the song is played.
If you hear that song, things are not going to go well.
It's played a few times. The lyrics are actually taken from the book, and then the creators of the show had someone score it for them. And this song is it's doom and gloom. And you hear this playing, you know, things are about to go down. And yes, it's for revenge. Like, revenge is actually done, but not in the way you'd want it to be done. And then it inspires you to get revenge as much as you can. And the lyrics are really dark. Basically, don't mess with the Lannisters, even if you think they're down.
No, they always pay their debts. All right, my turn.
Go for it.
Let's hear it.
Anyone?
Yeah.
Sounds really inspiring.
This one is in
It
particular.
doesn't sound revengey.
This one in particular.
I don't know it.
This is the song is called "Flying Home."
Oh,
And it's from Kick-Arse.
I love when you have to talk about that movie on this show.
This movie is nothing but a revenge tale. Like, this whole thing is just, you know, him getting out there and beating people up and Hit Girl and Big Daddy and that whole thing. And there is a compilation album which features We Are Young by Mika. It's a fantastic song, but I prefer the score, to be honest. So there you go. Point for you on that side, Kent.
Okay, nice.
It's by John Murphy and Henry Jackman, and there's "Flying Home" is probably my favorite track. It's only like a minute 49 long. Minute 49. It's not enough. Like, this song inspires me and makes me want to just, you know, it gets me pumped up.
But, like, pumped up just to kick butt? I mean, like, this is
Yes.
a revenge song.
It is, and the entire soundtrack, if you listen to it, there are a bunch of songs in there that have that kind of feel. But this was my favorite on the soundtrack. But the whole thing is really good. They have "Flying Home." They have "Strobe," which is Adagio in D minor, or G minor, as you say.
Indeed.
Big Daddy Kills and Big Daddy Dies. Like these, but usually when I listen to this, I pull up the 10-hour version or 10-minute version on YouTube and just listen to it.
Never do a 10-hour version of anything.
never do.
Then you listen to Making Bacon Pancakes.
Making Bacon Pancakes. I was going to say that.
Yeah.
I love that one. But yes, this is probably one of my favorite ones out there. And it's the feel of the whole soundtrack just really kind of inspires that I want to beat someone up. I want to be a superhero or a supervillain, depending which side you go on.
This show is off to a really dark start.
It is. Well, revenge.
Dark start.
All right. Best score, or should I say best score soundtrack for a movie you've never seen?
Here we go.
Yes.
I know this one. What is this?
You know this one?
Yeah.
What's it from? Can you say what it's from?
I've listened to this one a ton, but I don't know if I've
Well, the funny thing about
been
this song,
associated with the movie. What is this?
the name of the song is Lux Eterna. And it is found in so many movie trailers now. And they've remastered it with like a full orchestra and a choir for Lord of the Rings, which was awesome.
Right.
And possibly my favorite version. But this is actually Clint Mansell is the composer, and the movie is Requiem for a Dream.
Oh, right.
Which is about drug abuse.
It is. And I've never seen it. But this song in
Don't
particular,
ever watch it.
it's got Jennifer Connelly in it.
Don't ever watch it. Everyone who's seen the movie is like, please, Joel. It will ruin Jennifer Connelly for you.
Oh,
No, it will.
I'm sad now.
But it may make you like Marlon Wayans a little bit more.
You see one of the Wayans brothers?
Yes, he is.
Surprise.
But this whole soundtrack, I actually did listen to it today, and it's so bizarre. Just how there's this leitmotif, this theme plays throughout the entire soundtrack,
Right.
But then also they have these weird like conga songs in there, and there's some dissonant, peppy songs which are really weird. But it's a very, very intriguing soundtrack.
Oh,
And
it's phenomenal.
and it made me want to watch the movie. But now you're saying I shouldn't. So.
You only if you really want to try drugs.
What was
Like-
the other drug movie that you said he shouldn't watch that he loved?
Trainspotting.
Trainspotting. See?
Trainspotting.
Oh no, you may like.
But
you may
Trainspotting's
really
a little
like
more tongue in
Requiem for a Dream.
cheek and happy, and I actually read the story of Requiem for a Dream. I know the story, and it. Does
I will say the
not appeal
Requiem
to
for
me.
a Dream does not have that baby nightmare.
Oh,
that's
good.
in Trainspotting, which was one of the
terrifying.
scariest things
That's
I've ever
terrifying.
seen. But oh man, that movie messed me up. In fact, I think that movie maybe should be shown in every junior high because no one would ever take a single drug after watching that movie.
Probably
it's
not.
the best dare campaign ever.
Yeah, that's what they should do. Bring that into elementary schools.
A very, very rated R movie.
Ruin Jennifer Connelly for everyone. All right, Ken, go for it. Your best soundtrack for a movie you've never seen, which should be interesting because you've seen a lot of movies.
Yeah,
seen
how are you going to do this?
A lot of movies, but I've never seen this one. Sound familiar?
Do you even like this soundtrack, though?
Is this-
Listen to the song; it's fantastic, and the soundtrack is really good. Do you know it? Yeah,
Yeah,
It sounds familiar,
Inception.
actually. Oh, right. No, Interstellar. I'm pretty sure.
Interstellar. That's
yeah.
right. Glory. I'm getting like patriotic vibes from it. Is it Band of Brothers? You're going with TV again?
I have a confession to make. I've never seen Interstellar or Inception,
I know
so
it.
it's a combination.
I knew it.
It's a compilation album of Hans Zimmer.
I knew it.
No, but listen to this. Doesn't this sound just like...
Yeah, it's good.
There's so much going. It's so moving. This one is from a Gerard Depardieu movie.
Ah, My Father the Hero.
It's Green Card.
I knew it.
No, it's not Green Card. It's called 1492.
1492, a Columbus movie?
Conquest of Paradise. Yes. And it stars Gerard Depardieu and Sigourney Weaver, directed by Ridley Scott, actually.
I've never even heard of this movie.
Yeah, it came out in 1992.
I've heard of 1942.
It didn't do great.
It didn't do great at all.
I've heard of 1942, but not 1492.
No, it's 1941.
Oh, yeah. Right.
1941. Yeah. But this one is composed
Ruin my
by-
joke, you jerk.
Right. Vangelis composes. Do you guys know what else Vangelis composed?
I don't know, but I'm very jealous of that.
Vangelis. It's Blade Runner and Chariots of Fire.
Oh, Vangelis.
Yes.
I never knew how to pronounce that.
Oh, now Vangelis.
No, I never knew how to pronounce that when I see it next to Chariots of Fire. I'm like, Vangelis.
Right. Who even knows? But it's actually a great score. I'll probably still never watch the movie, but I listen to it like sometimes at work.
Why not?
That will just come up. I'm not the biggest Gerard Depardieu fan.
What? He is one of the best. Everyone loves Gerard Depardieu.
It's more fun to say his name than to watch his movies. Is that-
Hey, My Father the Hero is one of the most greatest movies ever.
You just like it because it has Katherine Heigl in it.
That turned into Antonio Banderas at the end there.
Yes, it
It's
did.
okay. Just any Spaniard is fine.
Is it? All right. So our next one is the
Best villain.
There you go.
Go for it, Jacob.
He's excited about this one. You're going to go first, Ken.
Let
Best
Jacob,
villain
let
track.
Jacob do something on the show.
I know. I have to do something here.
Sorry.
Let me read these stupid names, will you? All right. Best villain track.
All right, Kent.
I actually
go first.
I want you to go first, Joel.
No, but it's according to rules. You have to go first.
I want you to go first.
You want me to go first?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
Because it's going to get crazy.
Because we're talking about best villain track.
we are.
And everyone listening right now knows there's only one song you can play. So what is that song going to be, Joel?
It's this one.
You would.
I'm pretty sure this was on the last episode.
It wasn't because because we talked about A New Hope, and Kent brought up Empire Strikes Back, which this is in. But did you know this is also featured in Return of the Jedi, which we did not talk about? Loophole.
That's a nice loophole.
Thank you.
That's funny.
He wrote this song. John Williams, excuse me, wrote the Imperial March. This is from Star Wars, of course. He wrote it 3 weeks before the opening of the film, as kind of like he just had to hurry and write a song for the villain, and they made this. And this is really like iconic. Like you hear this at football games, you hear it all the time, like in commercials. This means bad guy song, bad guy song, bad guy song. Not that part. I would also like to give an honorable mention, if I may.
Yeah, go for it.
To Why So Serious from The Dark Knight and the Wolf's theme from Peter and the Wolf, which almost both made my cut here. but I had to go with this one because it's the best.
I'm really
Dylan
mad
theme.
at you because this is the only selection we talked about before the show.
Yes.
And I was hoping you'd let me steal this one.
No.
The Imperial March. I was really hoping you'd just let me steal this one.
Why?
Just because.
No.
Because it's such a gimme. Like, this is the best.
Who does gimmies on the show?
You do.
Exactly. You got to go with your hipster pick.
All right.
I'm mainstream. You're hipster.
All right. You ready for my hipster pick?
Yes, go for your hipster pick.
You're going to hate me.
I know why I want to hate you.
Because hate is all the world's seen lately.
We sing that on our last
Yeah, we
Soundtrack
did.
Feel song.
Full circle. Are you ready for the hate? You
This
know
sounds
it yet?
familiar.
You know it.
It is familiar.
Recent.
Interstellar?
Everyone's Interstellar?
No, this
Inception?
is Pirates of the Caribbean.
Is it?
No.
No.
It's Hans Zimmer.
Yes.
What did he score recently?
Just keep listening.
I am.
This show's going to be so long.
That's not helping.
All right. This is, I'll just answer for you.
I got nothing.
This is a movie I've seen 5 times. 3 hours each time.
Batman v Superman?
Batman v Superman.
That's funny.
That is.
Oh, is that Lex Luthor's theme?
That is Lex Luthor's theme. It's called.
Hey, want a Jolly Rancher? I'm a bad guy.
It's called The Red Caves Are Coming. I didn't expect that at all, Joel. Not at all.
I just like his little sound there.
Put the Jolly Rancher in your mouth.
Here's what I love about this.
Everyone's
Because
going to lose their minds because I'm not Lex Luthor.
I love the Imperial March, and yes, I do think it's the Imperial March's category to win, and yes, it's the best one. But
So you chose the worst one. That makes sense that we went opposites.
But the
on this one,
reason
Ken.
You asked for this, kid.
you ready? You gonna keep going? The reason I chose this one is because I actually think it's better than the Joker's theme from The Dark Knight.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not actually.
Oh, come on.
No.
The buzzing, that
You know the
horrible buzzing, and then the...
Can you even? I love the, but that's more Batman. It's
He's gonna
not.
say
It's not the
it-
Joker.
No, it's Why So Serious?
For me, this is actually, it's so fitting. And I chose this because, yes, it's a hipster choice.
He chose
But
this
it's-
just to antagonize.
No, not at all. It's so fitting to me because actually, Junkie XL, who worked on the music with Hans
Wow.
Zimmer, he says,
Junkie XL.
yes.
There's a name to take seriously, folks.
Oh, he's got a career doing movie scores, so he's doing pretty terrible.
I really hope that Junkie XL starts doing movies with McG pretty quick here.
Lex Luthor's theme is actually a perversion and corruption of Hans Zimmer's Superman theme, using the same 2-note structure but at different tones and speed and slightly flipped. Lex's theme is a warped, backward perversions of Superman's. And that's actually...
much like Batman v Superman is a warped version of what Superman should be. That's how I felt during the movie.
feels like season 1 of Baconsale. Oh, still season 1. Here's what I love about it. It's like...
Batman v Superman wasn't out in season 1.
No, The Man of Steel.
Oh, Man of Steel,
Yeah,
yes.
it's you complaining about Superman all the time. So I love Superman's Ascent. We talked about this on episode 1, and for me, it's so inspiring. And really, if you listen to these like back to back, there's the ascent of Superman, and this has the decline. Even the notes go differently. Like you said, the 2-tone goes dun dun, and instead of dun, anyways. Just laugh away. So I love this theme because it is literally the opposite of Man of Steel's flight. And for me, it works so well. Love it or hate it.
Next up is Best Zimmer Score.
Here's a movie I've never seen.
By the way, Zimmer, we should mention Hans Zimmer.
Oh, yes,
Because
yes.
we talked about John Williams and Danny Elfman on the last show, who are two of our favorite composers.
Hans Zimmer.
And so we decided to give an homage to
I feel like
a
you need to say
couple
his
of
name like that.
Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer.
To a couple composers that we like for this show as well. So this is Hans Zimmer specific.
This is Zimmer's third collaboration with Christopher Nolan,
Oh.
after Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, and it is...
Oh, this is Sunshine. No. This is Big Daddy Dies. This is Adiago in D minor. It's the same thing, right?
Nope.
Adiago? I don't know how to say that.
This is... Actually, it's from the Inception soundtrack. Its Dream is Collapsing.
It sounds the same as that other one we were just listening to before the show. Like it's like that same.
Yeah, it has the same kind of open, but I could actually choose any track from this score. It is just so great. I mean, there's Time, which is kind of the softer one. There's the one that is actually Nolan decided to use actually while writing the script.
I just realized he said I have never seen this film.
Yeah,
I get it
exactly.
now.
So
He's seen this film a lot.
he's working with Hans Zimmer. I actually really like their relationship because Nolan will always like send him like little notes, like try
In
to come
class?
up with this.
Do you like this score? Check yes or no.
Yes, that's exactly what he said.
Don't forget the maybe box.
Yeah.
But he'll basically like say, here's kind of the basic plot, and he'll give him like 2 paragraphs, and he's like, now compose something in a day and just give me what you have. And so this one, he did several things. Like, for example, he used La Vie en Rose.
Yes.
Which is the Edith Piaf story, which...
They use as the kick to wake people up from their dreams. And if you haven't seen the movie, it's like a signal to help people wake up from these dreams.
And actually, Hans Zimmer didn't want to do it. He didn't want to use it. This was like Nolan's insistence because they cast Marianne Cotillard, who starred in La Vie en Rose.
Yep.
Is that how you pronounce that? It's French.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to say it like Gérard Depardieu.
But I just love it. I love everything about it. It's so big, and then it gets so like gentle as well, and its time is so touching.
Well, in as much as I love Mind Heist, because I love Mind Heist,
is so good.
But everyone knows Inception as the boom.
I mean, that's kind of the standard, right?
But the music of Inception is brilliant, and it enhances the movie so much. Where just like you feel the suspense as they're falling back in the van, and like that music's playing and stuff like that.
For all of its great scores, stuff. I think Inception really tops it all.
It does, but It's not the top.
It tops it all, but it isn't.
Because then there's this. Any clues on this one, Jacob?
I know it, but
you do know it. It's very, very well known.
Jacob, are you entertained by the song?
Are you not entertained?
It's Gladiator.
It is Gladiator. Gladiator was one of those movies that I didn't love.
Really?
Yes. I thought it was kind of a knockoff Braveheart.
It is nothing like Braveheart.
That's how I feel, Jacob. Don't judge my feelings.
Wait, do you still feel
I will
this way?
judge your feelings.
I haven't seen it for years.
You should watch it.
It's great.
But I wasn't a huge fan
Except
of
that it's just like Braveheart in every way.
Yes,
so you probably won't like it.
But give it best soundtrack.
But the soundtrack, I got it, and I thought, this is amazing. And from this powerhouse that is the battle right here to the beautiful Now We Are Free by Lisa Gerard, who's not really Gerard.
Okay.
But that's the one we talked about before, where it's like the na 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 hey bea. Like just the other day, I was walking in a field and like had the kind of the high weeds. I started putting my hands out.
That's true. You
Were
did.
You started singing it.
No, we saw that video. Remember where he's walking like in the abandoned area?
Oh yeah,
yeah. That was probably it.
Grasshoppers start jumping on.
Yeah, exactly that. But
people have no idea what we're talking about right now.
Inside jokes on Baconsale, doo-dah, doo-dah. But this actually also has a special place in my heart because when I worked at a library at BYU, whenever we closed the library, we'd play music to kind of like 15 minutes of music to let people know the library was closing. It would crank it up. It'd be really loud. And we couldn't play
like
anything.
Death metal, like Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
Is that what you'd play?
The Matrix soundtrack, The Beautiful People.
That was Batman. Sing The Beautiful People.
Yeah. But we couldn't play songs that like people would want to dance to, and so we'd play scores. And this was one of the ones that was in the rotation, and I loved this because I would feel like a warrior going through the library.
Yeah, that's a great battle theme.
Checking people out. Or not checking people out.
Yeah, you were.
You totally were.
You were single at BYU.
Kicking people out.
After checking them out.
Yeah.
Checking their books out.
This really is a great soundtrack. If you haven't listened to the Gladiator soundtrack, even if you don't like the movie, go ahead and give the soundtrack a listen because it's
everyone
fantastic.
likes the movie, Joel.
Not everyone.
Yeah,
everyone.
It's not like it won Best Picture. Oh, dang it.
It's not like one of the epics.
Still.
Really? Wow. Okay.
I should
he hasn't seen it though, so
no, I've seen it.
I mean, not for however long.
Yeah, it's been a very long time.
You were checking people out while the movie was on. So
no, it was the music. Mm-hmm. But I should give this one another shot because I have grown to love the soundtrack.
I own it on Blu-ray if you want to borrow it.
I may have to.
Yeah.
All right. I believe I'm next again.
You are next. And this time, Joel, you're going to have to tell us what brought you to tears.
Dang it. This one I'm worried about because I may actually cry.
I say the likelihood's high.
Are you really?
Just talking about it.
Oh, no, we're talking about Pixar again.
God,
Mike Wazowski.
Someone say Mike Wazowski. Someone say Kitty. When he's like, boo. And she goes, Kitty. Every time.
Your eyes just watered.
Shut up. Okay, here we go.
It's the Bing Bong theme.
This is from one of our favorite composers of last time. And the director that we've tiered. And that's what I'm tearing.
Oh, it's a Spielberg movie.
We didn't tier Spielberg. We rated Spielberg.
Oh.
This is pretty.
Who did we tier last October?
Danny Elfman. I mean, sorry. Oh, it's Danny Elfman with Tim Burton.
It is.
And this is Big Fish.
This is Big Fish.
Big Fish. That makes sense.
Big Fish. And this is, I had a completely different answer for this one and had it all planned out. And then I realized in that conversation I had at work that this is the soundtrack that every single time gets me. And this song right here, this is the finale, which is the end part of the film, which you haven't seen. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's a very, very, very emotional ending. And every time I start kind of imagining in my head what's happening, I start to get a little watery-eyed, and I hate it. And the soundtrack has a beautiful, beautiful score. It also has some original songs like "Man of the Hour" by Pearl Jam, which is just heartfelt and beautiful. In fact, Pearl Jam was shown a rough cut of Big Fish, and they were asked to compose a song for it after that. And they wrote it, I think, within the next day. And they said, one of the guitarist, Mike McCready, said, "We were so blown away by the movie. Eddie and I were standing around talking about it afterwards, and we're teary-eyed. We were so emotionally charged and moved by the imagination and humanity that we felt because of the movie." So there you go. The soundtrack also features classics hits like "All Shook Up" by Elvis Presley, "Ramblin' Man" by the Allman Brothers Band, and "Every Day" by Buddy Holly. So it has kind of the compilation aspect, but then it has a beautiful score to go with it.
It's probably a good soundtrack.
But one thing that frustrates me about this soundtrack is I remember the first time I saw Big Fish, the trailer for Big Fish, it had "I've Seen All Good People" by Yes as kind of the backing,
I remember that
soundtrack.
Yeah.
And then it was pulled. I don't know if they just didn't have rights or what. But you never.
That's funny how they do that in trailers, and then it's never quite part of the soundtrack.
Well, it wasn't a soundtrack, but not only that, they re-released a new trailer, and it didn't have it in it. Like I had the only version I found that had that song in it was a German trailer, so I had to watch it in German to get that same feel I had.
Don't go to those sites.
Yeah, but yes, Big Fish, beautiful soundtrack, beautiful movie.
All right, Kent.
I did a ton of research on this one. I had a favorite.
I didn't cry, guys.
Yeah, well
yay,
done.
Joel didn't cry.
Yeah.
First Baconsale episode in maybe, 12, 13?
Well, I usually cry after we've done recording.
You did a terrible job, Joel.
Shut it off.
Terrible.
Shut off the mic.
I don't know if sobbing
Where's my
counts.
cry pillow?
So I really wanted to go with the cliche one for the movie that made me cry ever since I was the age of 7 and
Field of
leading up
Dreams?
until now.
Schindler's List.
No, not either, actually. There was one, and I'm actually going to save it for an episode when we talk about things that make us cry. But I found one today that gave me not only like a really sad reaction, but just like a really visceral reaction to this song and the scene that plays in this movie. And you're actually not going to be able to place it.
I'm very
So
curious.
I will explain as we go. Do you know it for real?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah, Top Gun.
This is the scene where he's riding his motorcycle. And no.
Oh, I thought this was the love scene.
No,
That's what made you cry?
It made me
Take
cry.
my breath up. Burm, burm. Burm, burm.
This song is called On the Nature of Daylight. It's composed by Max Richter.
Legends of the Fall?
No, it is from Shutter Island.
Shutter Island. Wait, since you say since you were
interesting.
7?
No, there was a song that I did not choose.
That was the other
And
one.
I changed
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
What was that
Everyone
one?
should know.
Shutter Island destroyed me.
The other song is called Swamps of Sadness. The other song.
Story. Okay.
This one I chose because this scene in the movie, I don't want to say too much about it, but it involves children.
Yeah.
And it is so heart-wrenching. Like, even now, I'm like, it makes me feel sick, sad,
Yeah.
and just desperate. And it really puts you into the mind of Leonardo DiCaprio's character in the movie. And boy, is it one of the most damaging scenes that makes for a brilliant and breathtaking
The
movie.
film is brutal.
It is brutal.
I thought it was very well done. I don't think I can watch it again because it.
That was exactly
I
my
own
experience.
it if you want to borrow it.
No,
No.
I'll do Gladiator before that.
Like, that's a bad thing. They're both like tier 1 movies.
Yeah, tier 2.
Wow.
Wow. It's pretty messed up.
So's your face.
My face.
It actually looks really nice.
I've
tonight.
had lots of surgery to make this not a problem, Joel. Thanks a lot.
I think it looks splendid.
Thank you. Thank you. You can't even tell.
I could, but I still
Dang
think it looks good.
All right.
What is happening?
Next one is the most patriotic
Most patriotic.
I went
movie. What's the most patriotic movie? That's what I wanted
Independence
to know.
Day.
Oh, okay. Next.
Most patriotic soundtrack.
So we
Okay.
already did Rocky 4, and so we did that whole soundtrack, both of us, last time.
Yeah, we did.
I'm going
for workouts.
I'm going so cliche on this one because maybe this one
Can
was
I
just
guess?
a gimme. Yeah,
Are you going to say the Patriot? Patriot.
it's the Patriot.
Yeah.
It's like most patriotic. You can't spell patriotic without patriot.
He's so predictable. He goes mainstream all the time.
I know, right?
Hold
do you-
on. Like the Patriot is mainstream.
You know what the Patriot is? It's a cheap knockoff of Braveheart.
I actually agree with that.
What isn't, though? I mean,
At
honestly.
this point, no, it's a good movie, but that's another one where I just couldn't get into it. There were some good parts, but overall as a
See,
whole, I
this
couldn't
one
get
has
into
always surprised me because it It is made by Roland Emmerich, who's made some of the worst movies of all time, including
True.
Independence Day, Resurgence.
No. Well, Resurgence.
Both.
Okay,
Yeah,
Resurgence.
Take it
okay.
easy. I'm not attacking your gem from 1996.
The most American movie of all time.
Please. He's one of the trashiest filmmakers who made 10,000 BC. And anyways.
And The Patriot.
But he made The Patriot.
He made The Patriot.
It's super shocking. This movie for me is also one of those that actually kind of almost made me cry. And it's not for all the death scenes because every character dies in this movie.
Do we need to give like synopses of these movies?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Mel Gibson.
Would you call it a tier 1 movie?
It's upper tier 2.
Upper tier 2? Yeah, I think that's fair.
Because Heath Ledger and Mel Gibson in this movie, they do such a great job. Their father and son dynamic is great. And honestly, everyone dies here, so the dramatic stakes are incredibly high.
They are.
And you hate the villain so much. Maybe it's a tier 1. Like, I actually really like this movie, though I hate to say it because of the director involved. But John Williams did this soundtrack, this score, and he did a great job. It's clearly very patriotic.
So we got
and it's
another
the
Danny
trumps
Elfman and a John Williams in this episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Joel?
For me, I went with something a little different. Kent?
Stargate.
It's Stargate.
So America.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now tell me what you hear, what you see when your mind helicopters,
Right?
Yeah, flying
Jungle.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
flying over Vietnam.
I went with Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
I got emotional thinking about it.
Did you?
Yeah, apparently. This
Do you know what
album.
Forrest Gump is?
Yeah, what?
Cheap knockoff of Braveheart.
That's probably true.
But no, this album is Americana. It's got songs by Elvis Presley, the Beach Boys, Joan Baez, Aretha Franklin, the Doors, the Mamas and the Papas, Simon & Garfunkel, Willie Nelson, Leonard Skinner. Basically, every amazing American artist from the 1950s to the 1980s are on this album. In fact, when they were making the movie, Zemeckis said, "I only want American artists because I feel like that's what Forrest Gump would want."
It's a little bit racist.
More like nationalist.
Nationalist might be.
All of a sudden, I can't use that card. You use
No.
that card every show.
That's racist.
Yeah.
It also
go.
features the beautiful main theme by Alan Silvestri of the Forrest Gump. The dun, 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 dun,
Is it too bad that Forrest Gump isn't any good, though?
I still like it.
Really?
I do.
It has not stood the test of time. I think it lasted a year, and then everyone's like, oh.
No,
Forrest Gump.
I still enjoy it. It still
Yeah,
has
I'd
that
say it still has value for sure.
that epic feel to me. Not epic. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like just this kind of
schmaltzy.
no. It's like slice of life.
It is
or
schmaltzy,
captures America. Yeah, it's totally schmaltzy, but that's the whole
Yeah.
point of it.
Americana?
It's not trying to be. I guess Americana. That's kind of.
Would you say it's like a box
Sweeping?
of chocolates? Like
Sweeping?
you don't really know what you're going to get?
maybe? Oh man, I want to watch it again. Though.
They're usually ones with cherries because cherry is
I
disgusting.
feel like there is a
I
good
once-
word for it, though, that we're not thinking
I
of.
know. I can't think of it as right now, but
Sappy.
no.
Saccharin.
Funny story, by the way. This is unrelated to anything, and I hope she's not listening. But there's one time I went out with this girl. I was dating this girl, and
She's listening.
I remember her
Totally
saying,
is. You are so screwed.
Every one of your ex-girlfriends listens to this show.
they love it.
Yeah.
All
and they
four.
tweet me and Kent about it.
But
We're going to keep going with this.
she didn't like Aladdin because she thought the bird was a little too crass.
We already know this. She told us.
Did
No, she did.
Did you meet
Oh,
her
yeah, no.
in the BYU library?
No.
I hate her.
Oh yes, actually I did.
She was like, "Why are you checking me out?"
Yeah.
Why'd you just stamp my back?
But
You're mine.
She didn't like Aladdin because she thought the parrot was too crass. But her favorite movie was Forrest Gump. And I was like, wait a minute. How can you like Forrest Gump and then say Aladdin's too crass? That's
Too
unfair.
crass.
Yeah.
So that was weird.
Don't they show a bum in Forrest Gump?
She's sitting down playing a guitar. So,
Okay.
Yeah. But there's obviously some things in there that I was just like, yeah, that
There's
doesn't really
plenty
fit.
of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
no, it does
nothing-
show about when he gets shot in the butt talks.
Yep. Nothing as bad as that parrot, though.
All right. Yeah, that parrot is awful. I love you, Iago.
That's like Al Gore and Forrest Gump.
Yeah, make that a returning character.
Yeah. Okay. What's next, Jacob?
I don't know.
Now
if
that
I
we're all
wanna-
inspired and American.
I don't know if I want to move on, honestly. All right. Next is the best James Horner,
Booyah.
whoever that is.
This is the best?
Well, we can't do Braveheart because that got taken last time.
There are so many other soundtracks.
But when it comes to iconic, recognize it immediately Horner music,
this is basically
Boom.
I would say this is a cheap knockoff of Braveheart because so much of the soundtrack sounds like Braveheart. Like, not even joking right now.
Can we call this episode a cheap knockoff of Braveheart?
Honestly, this is already like a tag. Yeah.
The funny thing about this is like James Cameron asked James Horner to score this entire movie, and he didn't want a theme song. He didn't want any singing in the film.
And look what happened.
So James
funny.
Horner had to sneak around and write this song kind of on the sly with a guy named Will Jennings. And then they approached Celine Dion to do a quick little demo. And then they brought it to James Cameron and said, by the way, we've been working on this. And he listened to it and he loved it. And he said, okay, this can be in the film. And it's a good song.
This song ruined the box for me. Oh, you remember the box?
I do remember the box.
This song was always on the box.
This song
Because
ruined the
people
90s
love
for
it.
me.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I hate this song so much.
This is, though, one of the best. This is one of the best-selling albums of all time. The Titanic. This is Titanic.
Do you think
How we'll go on from Titanic?
Do you think people are disappointed that this is the only vocal song?
Maybe.
Like all these Slackjaw Yokos
They
are like-
did have Norwegian singer Sissel Kyrkjebø.
One more time.
Kyrkjebø.
Can you have Jacob read that, please?
That's racist.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Goodness,
Stealing
Joel.
my jokes. But this was an immensely successful song, an immensely successful soundtrack, and James Cameron actually wanted Enya to do the music on this, and she turned it down. So then it came to this one.
Because she already sang Sail Away, and she didn't want another boat-themed song.
It's terrible.
That's it, yeah.
And
That did not go with the Orinoco flow of the show, Kent. I love Enya. I have to say
I know
that.
you do so much.
But apparently, like James Horner and James Cameron worked together on Aliens, and they had a very tense relationship there.
Oh, really?
And so they had kind of this, like, they were on the outs. But then after James Cameron saw what James Horner did on Braveheart, he asked him to come do this and said, "This is great,
He said, "Hey, copy that theme, but we'll add a French-Canadian singer."
amazing."
Amazing?
It's an amazing song. It's just so, and you don't like it because it's so popular, but it's so recognizable and it's beautiful and it's like heart-achingly sad at the same time.
Are you talking about you?
Yes, I'm beautiful yet heart-achingly sad.
All right, Kent,
So
what's
best
yours?
James Horner.
So James Horner, I really, really, really love this guy. He died actually last year in a tragic accident. I was pretty bummed about it. Pretty bummed. He died. That's pretty sad.
Why did you kill him, Kent?
I'm the one that kills people, Jake. I am.
It's you now.
It is?
Yeah.
You realize that's going to take it out of the context now, Kent, on Twitter.
Oh, I've never seen that before.
You can't hear inflection in Twitter.
That's good. I'm using that. So James Horner did Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan, Cocoon, Commando, Aliens.
Don't give Cocoon that kind of Cocoon, guys.
Cocoon.
The guy's got Apollo 13 and Braveheart
Apollo
under his belt,
13,
and then
he's-
you're over there going Cocoon.
An American Tale, Willow, and Glory. The Glory soundtrack is phenomenal. Actually,
is.
almost got my most patriotic.
Me too. Well, it almost got most patriotic too, but then I kicked it up for Forrest Gump.
But this is the best James Horner score.
Is that Apollo 13?
No. You'll know it.
Rocketeer? Goonies?
Little Mermaid?
Jake's closer.
Splash?
No. It's not Splash. Think of dinosaurs. Think of Littlefoot.
Oh my gosh.
It's Land Before
The
Time?
Land
That's it.
Before
Like, I totally
Time.
recognize that. Like,
The
yeah.
Little Mermaid was... animated. Okay, I
Yeah,
got it now.
exactly.
It did feel animated to me. That's actually part of why I couldn't connect it. Yeah.
Man.
Listening to
Way to
this
bring the
one
room
again,
down, Ken.
I know. Actually, Land Before Time kind of does that. It is a great cartoon that is really kind of dark, and the soundtrack is kind of depressing.
Why do you like... Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I know, weird, right? Has depth. No, but I really love this
Johnny
one.
Depth.
Whether it's the vocal version or just the score version, it's really
Wait,
good.
let's do the vocal version, because I don't know Land Before Time well enough to know the song.
I
by
don't
heart.
know the lyrics, so I'm just, like, if we hold on together, I know our dreams will never
As long
die.
as we got each other.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. Just cut all that.
Never. But I really like it. It's very emotional. So, yay, James Horner.
Okay. I had no idea he did that one, actually.
Which soundtrack or score makes you want to explore?
My turn on this one.
Yes.
And I'd like to thank Metallica for this.
Mission Impossible 2?
Oh, Unforgiven?
No.
Metallica.
Metallica?
Before every Metallica concert, they lead up for about 4 to 5 minutes, and they play this song before they ever enter the stage because it builds and builds and builds. And this is Ennio Morricone's "The Ecstasy of Gold" from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Okay.
This is the second most memorable track from that score.
Well, because everyone remembers that.
That was awful. That was basically Iago. But I love that because it builds and it reminds me of the Old West, and I could put that in if I was ever an explorer and I had my iPod or my Galaxy S8 Plus. I miss you, iPhone. I would.
Do you though?
Save it for Ronan. Save it for Ronan.
I would play that song because it's an inspiring song, and yeah, like I was saying with Metallica, it builds up and then all of a sudden they just start, and they build into it. It's actually really cool. So, Ennio Morricone, one of the best composers out there.
I never say his name right, so I'm glad you're daring enough to try it.
I think it's Morricone, but who knows?
Morricone. All right, so it's my turn for Explore.
You betcha.
Explore this, Jacob.
All right.
Whoa. You don't know this one?
Nah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, here in a sec when the horns kick in, it'll probably sound really familiar.
Exploring. Oh yeah, I do know this.
Here comes the high note. Everyone knows this one.
Yeah. I forget which movie this is though.
This is the overture from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
That's it.
By Michael Kamen.
And Bryan Adams?
And Bryan Adams, yes. Yes, we'll get to that.
Wait, is this? Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say, this is actually now the theme song for Morgan Creek.
Morgan Freeman is how you pronounce it.
Yeah. Morgan Creek, which
Morgan
distributed
Creekman.
such great movies as Young Guns, Major League, True Romance, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, and The Last of the Mohicans. But then they show the logo and they play this song.
Cocoon.
And of course.
Cocoon, guys. Cocoon.
But of course, this also has Everything I Do it for you by Bryan Adams.
I always get that confused with Have You Ever Really?
But that was from like Don Juan DeMarco
Yes,
or something
indeed.
like that.
With Johnny
But
Depp.
Bryan Adams wrote this in 45 minutes. Well, him and a guy named Lang wrote this in 45 minutes. And this is the reason, like, this was nominated for Academy Award. It lost Beauty and the Beast. That song, Everything I Do It For You. The soundtrack is fine, but really, I like the overture probably best on the entire soundtrack. And you hear that, and it's like you want to just kind of forge ahead and, go through the forest and cut down vines and cocoon, guys. But
You're just going to say that whenever it gets slow. Cocoon.
that's going to say a lot on this show then. But yes, I choose Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves as makes me want to explore.
That movie will do that.
Yeah, Will.
I went home and tried to make my own bow as soon as I saw that movie.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to be Robin Hood.
I love how physics don't apply in that movie. How it's like,
No.
all right, I'm going to rip off the feathers in the back of these two bows. That'll make it go right into these two guys at the exact same velocity.
I'm going to jump into a catapult and then fly and land onto a bale.
Which I
or
had
a
no
straw
idea they
bale.
said the F word until like later on.
They do? Yeah.
Right after he goes
Christian
to the catapult.
Slater
It says-
does that and he goes, well,
He
F
says,
me.
F me, they cleared it. And I remember being like, when I heard it, I was like, wait, that doesn't fit this.
No, it doesn't. It's
But-
way out.
Wasn't it nice being kids when you didn't really know what swear words were?
Or nice being kids and not realizing what was going on during the wedding between Sheriff of Nottingham and
Oh
Maid
my
Marian.
gosh.
What do you mean? What was happening?
Don't you remember he's trying to...
I watched it last week and I still didn't get what was going on.
When I watched that when I was older, I was like,
when a
how
sheriff
did
and
I
a
watch
maid
this as a
love each
kid?
other very much.
I don't think she loved him very much. No.
She didn't seem to.
Which is funny because, like, Sheriff of Nottingham, like, that's one of Alan Rickman's most iconic roles, and that film was so popular. And then you watch it, and you're like, wow, this is wildly inappropriate at this part.
Like, what do you mean?
He's trying
We're
to
fine.
assault her
Let's
kid.
move on.
Don't push it.
Next one. Look at him. He's all red. That's funny. All right. Most iconic score of the 2000s.
Oh, now we're getting to Joel's wheelhouse.
What?
I think you love this stuff. I think you love the
I think-
soundtracks of the decades.
No, well, I do love the soundtracks of the decades, but I do feel like soundtracks and scores kind of lost their luster after the 90s. Like the 90s, everyone owned all these soundtracks.
Right, like compilation albums and everything like that, right?
Well, yeah, but even
I
like,
totally agree.
Even
with
like Braveheart and Last Mohicans and stuff like that, and Titanic, everyone had those soundtracks. And you get into 2000s, and people are like,
See, do you really feel like scores lost their luster? Because I feel like scores actually took over at that point.
no. Like,
There
that's
became-
what I'm saying. I'm saying it flipped. Where I feel like the scores of the 90s, like Braveheart and Titanic and Glory and all those, were so much more popular, and everyone owned them on CD, and then no one really bought scores.
So do you think they've only come back in the past, 7 years?
I don't know if they have.
Oh, I totally think they have. Look at Hans Zimmer. Look at
Where's
Howard
it? Did you hear?
Shore. You know, look, Lord of the Rings was 2001 to 2003.
Yeah,
like
but
how was
Not
that
a lot of
not
people
movie
bought
scores?
the soundtrack.
Yeah,
though.
mainstream,
I didn't
though.
go into people's apartments and be like, "Hey, do you got Lord of the Rings soundtrack?"
I lived in Provo, and that happened all the time.
I'm sure it did.
Because this is Provo. I was at BYU Library checking them out. the soundtracks.
Anyway, I don't think Kent's gonna. He may not pick the same one as me, but I don't think he's gonna argue with me
Okay.
when I say I chose this one.
Cocoon? Most iconic?
Well,
Okay.
of the 2000s, because I feel like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, in particular, I Made a Co-Star.
I mean, that was really, really...
It was huge, and this
Yeah.
is 2000. This is on the year 2000 when this movie came out. But this made a it was like a bluegrass revival after this, and like country, gospel, blues all kind of made a resurgence in the mainstream because of this movie and because of the soundtrack. And they recorded a bunch of modern recordings of classic folk songs, and they actually recorded the entire soundtrack before filming. The Coen brothers knew they wanted to have a certain feel, so they wrote them. They got all these songs and put them in there to say, "This is the feel we want for the movie," and then kind of guided it from that. This became one of the soundtrack CD became a bestseller, certified 8 times platinum as October 2007.
Yeah.
And it won the Grammy. It won the Album of the Year in 2002, which is highly unusual for a movie soundtrack to win Best Album of the Year. Some of my favorite tracks include "You Are My Sunshine," "Down to the River to Pray," "Keep on the Sunny Side," and the creepy but beautiful "Didn't Leave Nobody But the Baby."
Never leave the baby.
No, especially not in the corner.
Never in the corner. All right, so that was what was that?
Most iconic of the 2000s.
Most iconic.
Most ironic or most iconic?
Isn't it ironic, Kent?
Don't you think? Mine, Joel's going to hate.
It's like the rains of Castamere.
On your red wedding day.
Yay!
Hey, see?
We
High
write
five.
parody songs.
There will be a show for that. Joel, you're not really going to like my choice.
I don't think I'll ever like any of your choices. Kidding. No, I love this song.
You do, but do you like the soundtrack?
No, but I love this song.
See, I feel like the whole soundtrack is consistent. This is from...
Most iconic?
Yeah, this is from Once. And this is where I feel
That's
like...
why he has to tell people where it's from.
This is where I feel like
That's kinda what I was
soundtracks have more evolved from compilations and like pop songs and alternative songs and turned into singer-songwriter, just basically creations.
So you're talking about original music written for the movie, not necessarily just compilation of already popular songs.
Exactly.
Okay.
So John Carney, yeah, that's
Carpenter.
actually his name.
Carpenter.
John Carney, who also did Begin Again and Sing Street,
Sing Straight.
which I'll probably mention in episode 3 of Soundtrack and Fills.
Or we
Soundtrack
can't use
Harder.
any of the ones from
We
here.
cannot. He wrote and directed this movie. He wrote the music, had the help of Glenn Hansard and Marketa Irglova. I feel like I did pretty good on that one. Falling Slowly won the
Nicely done.
Oscar for the best original song. I feel like this whole soundtrack is great.
So is this more like Kent's favorite pick or most iconic of the 2000s?
I feel like both because the accolades it got. This is my favorite pick, but the accolades it got. I mean, this song got so much play, and it really
This
should
song
have.
is the reason I watched the movie, because I said, that is a beautiful song. I must know more about this. And I watched the movie and I'm like,
Yeah, see,
wow, this is a boring movie.
I
And I
never really
didn't
got why
finish
you
it.
didn't like it
I didn't.
because
This is one of the few movies in my life I never finished because I fell asleep. I woke up the next morning. I'm like, I'm just going to return it to Netflix.
yeah. So you never finished it. So
No.
your opinion on it is like
I got about
half
three.
there?
Well, let me tell you the plot of the movie. So they meet, they walk around, they go to a party and they sing, and then they walk around some more and they go to another party and they sing, and then they walk around and go to another party and they sing, and then I fell asleep. But I'm assuming they're going to walk around some more and go to a party and sing.
You assume the best endings, Joel. It's actually a beautiful, simple story about a relationship, and it is purely simple. I mean, it's
I did
really
look
just
up
about
the
guy
ending.
and
I know
girl.
what happens, but
So was it? Were you right? No, it doesn't
much.
matter. The music is great. I really do think it's one of the most iconic. I was going to go with Garden State on this one,
Garden State's a great one.
but I think it's aged poorly. Also, Juno I think is aged really poorly because they're all indie songs, and I feel like that's kind of past.
But at the same time, I feel like once you can listen to that ever and it's not captured in a decade. When you listen to Let Go by Fro Fro or whoever that
exactly.
was, you're back in
You
like
are,
your college
definitely.
years. And like it's really a great. That's a good soundtrack too. Why didn't I think of that one?
Yeah.
But I still go with mine.
Next one is the most iconic score of the 2010s so far.
There's only one choice.
Oh, how did I know? You didn't pick Sing Street?
He doesn't like it as much.
Ooh. We got to stop talking about how good this movie is, Kent, because I've had multiple people say, you talked it up too much. No one watched it. It was just okay.
You know, it'd be nice if people just formed their own opinions.
Says the movie critic.
Yeah, you wouldn't have a
who
job.
tells people, don't go see this movie. It's terrible.
Look, I tell people to save their money, but form your own opinion. You can listen to me all you want. I should not be creating your opinion. Yes, I do lower people's expectations.
Yes.
Don't listen to me. Just spend your money or don't. That's all the credence
You
should be
shouldn't tell
giving me.
people not to listen to you, though.
Yeah.
Just read my funny words. That's all I want.
I love this soundtrack. I bought this soundtrack, and we listen to it constantly. I really enjoy the soundtrack. But why not Sing Street?
I also own Sing Street. I do think this one's a little more consistent, and in Sing Street, it has more 80 songs, which are great. Like Man Eater is really fun to hear.
Yes.
but it's not quite as solid. There are 3 songs on Sing Street, which I'll just listen to
Let the
again
record
and
show,
again.
Kent said Sing Street is not as solid, Emily.
She will actually be mad about that. But from this one, from the beginning to the epilogue, which is a 7-minute long track, which kind of covers everything. It's like an overture at the end. And what it means to me, as far as the epilogue of that movie, it's absolutely wonderful. This will not be beat this decade.
Okay.
I think it won the Oscar for every song, and then it was taken away by Moonlight.
I hate that show.
All right, Joel, let's hear it.
Well, I don't know if I want to play it because it's just going to tick off Kent. I just want you to watch Kent's eyes when I play this. Okay?
All right, Sing Street.
You see it? Did you see it?
I did. I saw it. I did.
This is Hooked on a Feeling by Blue Suede from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Remember when I
Awesome
said
Mix
Guardians?
Volume 1.
Remember when I said Guardians?
I couldn't even see that coming. But once I heard it, I was like, ugh.
Ken, you want to know what this beat out? I kicked off La La Land for this. I had La La Land.
You
under, I
realize
had the
that our
research
next
done.
category this fits better in, right?
No, because this one, much like how Wayne's World brought back Queen into the mainstream, these songs here, like this one, is now captured into the 2010s. The Awesome Mix Volume 1 tape, the whole look, the aesthetic, the compilation, it's all in that movie, and it revived a lot of these songs people didn't know. In fact, James Gunn said he downloaded a few hundred songs that were semi-familiar and then chose the ones he thought were best fitting for the movie. And some of my favorites include, obviously, this one, which, by the way, this is my hipster. Put my hipster glasses on now. Can I borrow your hipster glasses?
Yeah, here you go.
Thank you. And your beret?
Oh, here you go.
I don't want your scarf. It's too hot. But I liked Hooked on a Feeling before any of this happened. Like I liked
Are
Hooked
you
on
really playing that
No,
card? This
because
is like a 50-year-old song.
It is, but I liked it because back in the day, Leighton Lyrics used to come around to the schools.
What are Leighton Lyrics?
They are a singing group from Leighton High.
Were you part of the Leighton Lyrics?
I was not. I went to Northridge.
Oh, you're like, I would never.
No, but my older brother was in
Northridge
it. And
Notes?
The Leighton Lyrics, it's all men's group, and they sang this song, and I thought they were so cool, and I wanted to be a lyric so that I could sing this song. And then it came in the movie, and I'm like, oh, great, now everyone loves this. Here, take these back.
Thank you. So you're saying Glee was your high school story? Because
No.
it really seems like you just detailed an episode of Glee.
No, I this
Those
group
Leighton
would
Lyrics
come
always get to go to regional.
around. Can't hate anything happy.
The Northridge Notes never
didn't they
make
come to
it.
your school and sing the Christmas songs and all that? in
No,
the assemblies?
because Viewmont was very musically influenced, and the teacher would never allow any other schools to do it.
Interesting. Well,
Yeah.
Leighton had a really good program. But some of my favorite tracks on this one include Come and Get Your Love by Redbone, Cherry Bomb by The Runaways, and Escape the Pina Colada Song by Rupert Holmes.
No.
I feel like this is the soundtrack that people bought in the 2010s, and it's the one that people will remember from Guardians of the Galaxy.
You know what's
a good
funny
point,
is the movie really did do a lot of favors to these songs because
Yes, the 70s,
you could basically
60s,
watch
70s,
any
80s.
infomercial at 1:30 a.m. and you know how the music the
You get
titles,
hits from-
the title scroll and then it's like
Yeah.
you know ooga chugga ooga and then it's like yeah I could buy that for $7.99 or just buy it for $14.99 when it's a Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack.
I got it for free. iTunes was giving it out for free, and I grabbed it.
Worth every penny.
I told you it was going to tick them off.
Can't really argue with that, though. Next is most iconic score of the 70s.
Joel,
No.
please play that same song again.
No. If we don't agree
That
on
would've been funny.
I'm going to say this. If we don't agree on this, you have something seriously wrong with you.
I cannot wait for what you're about to play.
All right. Everyone, get out your giant collars and your bell-bottom pants because I've got a fever. A Saturday night fever. By the way, CPR classes teach you that this is the rhythm you're supposed to do chest compressions to this beat. This is the right
Like
beat.
on dates?
No, for CPR
Okay.
classes.
So I got carried away with
You
Saturday Night
perv.
Fever. Crossed the line a few times tonight.
Yes, you have.
Passive aggression.
What I didn't realize
Don't like Batman
is
v
that
Superman, huh?
this song and a lot of the Bee Gees songs on here were created for this soundtrack. Like I thought maybe they were borrowing these famous disco songs at the time. And it wasn't until I did this research that I realized that songs like Staying Alive, Night Fever, How Deep Is Your Love, More Than a Woman, and If I Can't Have You were part of this album. Like they actually were writing the songs before, but then they said, hey, we want you to do this soundtrack. And they said, well, I guess we're putting all our songs into this instead of our own album.
Isn't it weird though that they also have like Night on not by the Bee Gees but Night on Disco Mountain
Yeah.
and also the Fifth Taste of the Fifth or whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
the Beethoven's it's like the techno
Like,
or disco.
Yeah, and but it's weird that they use these classical themes to go into their disco movie, which is actually a really dark movie.
Yes,
like, it's
it
not
is.
fun and fancy free by any means.
And this is actually, I mean, I don't know, this may be my favorite Bee Gees song, but I really like Nights on Broadway. I think that song's song's amazing. And this one is definitely iconic of the 70s. Like, you hear this, you see John Travolta in a white suit walking down the road, even though he's not even in the white suit and he's walking down the road. But you see that.
But still,
you always picture him.
That's what you remember him. So yes, this won a Grammy Award for Album of the Year and is the only disco album to do so, and one of only 3 soundtrack albums so honored as Best Album of the Year, much like I said, like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, and this one, and The Bodyguard.
Joel, please don't be mad.
Hold on. Oh, okay.
Please don't be mad.
Disco Duck? Jive Talking?
It's the Bee Gees.
It is the Bee Gees.
I Should Be Dancing from Saturday
Okay,
Night
I was going to
Fever.
say, I didn't mention that one, but I'm pretty sure it's on there.
Yeah, you cannot say that this
I like how I picked the mainstream Bee Gees song and then he picked the hipster.
I actually knew he did. I knew you would choose that one. So this song, or actually this soundtrack was top number 1 on the charts for 24 weeks. That's half a year, or nearly. I'm bad at math. And it stayed in the Billboard charts for 120 weeks. This is in the Library of Congress for being culturally significant. I actually was talking to Jimmy Chunga today, and he said, I'm old enough to remember when this was in stores, and no one could ever find it in stores. Remember, this is the time before digital.
Right. They had to buy it.
And it was every week, like on album release day, they'd be like, hey, we got all this new stuff, and don't worry, Fever's coming soon. And it was like 3rd printing, 4th printing for the record or tape. And you could not find this album anywhere because it was that big.
It was so popular. And it's still good. Like, a lot of people say disco is dead and no one likes disco, but man, Bee Gees, something about them. They stayed alive.
Did they? Because I'm pretty sure one of them's dead.
Hey!
I had to go there.
No, you didn't.
I did go there, though.
You didn't have to.
He wanted to.
I wanted to.
All right. Next category is the most ill-fitting score.
Meaning the one that just didn't work with the movie.
Which is the one that just didn't belong there?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going with this
first?
one.
Kent.
This one is Lux Eterna, which has already been played in this episode.
Requiem from a Dream?
Requiem for a Dream.
Really? You don't think it doesn't fit?
It doesn't fit at all.
I haven't seen the movie, so I can't really give a judgment on this.
Actually, reading about this, I was kind of talked into it fitting because it's so strange. It feels like a fantasy movie. But really, there's one scene where Jared Leto and Marlon Wayans are pushing a shopping cart, and I think they stole a TV and they're on drugs, and you hear this music going, and you're like, they're just walking the boardwalk right now, and it doesn't really seem to fit. But Clint Mansell, who composed it, he said the music is based on heroin and craving. So it's like this really big, really loud, and then really dark.
Well, can you explain to me, by the way, I mean, there's like this weird conga music in there, and there's one that's called like Moira Barfs or something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
It's bizarre.
They're a bizarre scene. It's basically
They wanted a soundtrack to her barfing.
It's
Who doesn't?
It's the high of drugs, and it gets so frantic. It's a little bit like Trainspotting, like we mentioned.
Okay,
where it's so frantic.
Is it got that kind of surreal
unnerving
filming to it?
Yes,
interesting.
And
I shouldn't see it.
So Clint Mansell, I don't think so. I mean, you can see it edited, but it'll be, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it'll be
like
fine.
7 minutes long.
Yeah, I'm not going to go there. It will probably just take away some of the shock effect because this movie is very, very shocking. Clint Mansell said this was meant to be seen as a monster movie, and that is why and actually maybe this isn't ill-fitting because it does kind of feel like a monster movie, but the monster is drugs. Kids,
the monster is drugs. Baconsale.
The monster is Baconsale?
We're a PSA group now. Okay, my most ill-fitting. That's interesting, Kent. You've seen this one. I think you're going to agree with me. And I've mentioned this on the podcast. I don't remember which episode, but I mentioned it a couple times before, I think.
Batman.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I went there.
You went there.
This is Bat Dance.
Bat Dance
By Prince.
Is that like Man Bat?
Kind of.
Man Bat Dance.
So Tim Burton, he hired Danny Elfman to do the score, and they were like, "That's great, whatever." We also wanted Prince on there, and they're like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, it'll increase marketability." And Tim Burton was against it. He didn't really want to put him on there, but then he was like, "Well, fine, whatever." So he let him do. There were 2 albums. There was a soundtrack album and a score album. Mm-hmm. Score album, brilliant. Danny Elfman's music, amazing. This was awful. Like almost every one of his songs were awful. Like even in the movie.
What about the one where they're the parade? Do you hate that one?
Those are okay, but at the same time they don't feel like they fit in the movie. Like when they're in the museum and like desecrating all the paintings, stuff like that. It just doesn't feel right. And the music video. If you haven't seen the music video for Bat Dance, It's got like dancers dressed up as Batman, dancers dressed up as the Joker. Prince is like doing a kind of a two-face thing with Batman and Joker.
It's not good.
And then they sample like here in the background you'll be able to hear it, but they sample like tracks from the movie of like Michael Keaton going, "I gotta go work," and then Jack Nicholson saying, "You ever dance with the devil in the light?" And then Vicky Vale screaming. They put screaming in the song.
Ugh.
Who does that? Here's Jack Nicholson's laugh.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
It's got a little hook to it, but
It's actually a thing I do before bed.
Using that.
but this album was number 1 on the Billboard albums chart for 6 consecutive weeks. This was an album that was popular.
So this one, not the score.
Yeah,
actual
this one,
soundtrack.
the Prince one, and it has 9 tracks on it, and none of them fit the movie of Batman. So there's my most ill-fitting.
I actually don't know did Batman Returns do the same thing? Because we mentioned Forever and Batman and Robin and how the soundtracks are actually so much better than the movies.
Right.
Did Batman Returns just have a score or did they go for pop artists as well?
It has a score. I don't think they have a pop one on there, but I actually have a couple of those songs on my Halloween playlist, like
awesome.
Selena Transforms and stuff like that. Great songs.
Very good.
All right, Jacob, what's next?
It's the category where Kent picks something that is actually more iconic and everyone knows. It's called overrated score or soundtrack.
Okay, I'll go first, and please don't hate me for this.
Oh, you would.
The problem with this movie is that it's not a great soundtrack. It's great in the background of an Italian restaurant, but in regard to scores that you want to listen to on a daily basis, I don't really see the point of it. And yet this was nominated for awards, and it made it very popular, but for me, it does nothing.
I'm so proud of you. I could listen to that guy all night long.
Me too.
They have like a nice mandolin in the background, but it feels like, okay, I'm going to say,
It feels like old Italy.
it feels like
no?
you're eating at an Olive Garden. This is the music they're going to play at an
Don't you
Olive
think
Garden.
this probably created that trope?
Well, no, this trope came because it's Italian music. It's that mandolin kind of music. It has an Italian feel.
Yeah, but that's how the movie's supposed to feel.
It is.
Old school Italian.
But it's
And
overrated.
oh man,
I feel like the score is overrated. Every time it's like, oh, Godfather, one of the best themes ever. I'm like, no, it's background music.
I am craving salad and breadsticks so much right now.
Yeah.
Can I tell you a quick story about that
Sure.
too? So I watched Godfather 1. It was good. I watched Godfather 2. Wow, that was really good too.
Mm-hmm.
And then for Godfather 3, because I watched them almost right
Oh,
by
I've
each
never
other.
seen 3.
And I watched Godfather 3, but I was like, I'm going to make an event of this since I'm wrapping up the trilogy here. So we had pasta, we had breadsticks, we had salad, we had grape juice. Like, it was a Provo party. And
Sure.
we watched Godfather 3, and it was such a great time that I actually didn't hate the movie.
Oh, really?
And everyone's like, Godfather 3 is so bad. And I'm like, it was okay. But it was because I had such a positive experience while watching it.
Which books were you checking out during this party?
What? No, this was at our apartment. There was no books.
You didn't invite anybody over?
I think it was
You
just,
weren't reading any
I think it was just
books,
my
huh?
roommates, to be honest.
Cocoon.
So yes, overrated, the Godfather soundtrack.
This is what I feel to be the most overrated soundtrack of all time.
Let's hear it. Titanic.
It
I thought it was Man of Sorrow for a second, and then what is it? There's people cheering.
What kind of soundtrack is this? Oh, it is. It is a Man of Sorrow from Over the Art, though. The most iconic of the 2000s.
Ironic you say that.
What was Kent's again? Do you remember what Kent's was? Because I don't.
Once.
No, you didn't tell me more than once.
I actually don't like this movie. I feel like it was a big miss for the Coen brothers, and I know everyone would say I'm wrong. I didn't care for this movie at all. Their take on the Odyssey didn't really work. The style was there, and I feel like the soundtrack, I feel like this created Mumford & Sons, and for that, it should be punished and burned.
Well, it was like,
created
it's like a
one.
decade later.
More.
Yeah. So this one it came out 2000.
If they created Mumford & Sons, God bless them.
What? I think you're the only one that's saying that at
I
this
love those
point.
guys.
I don't hate Mumford & Sons.
I don't think Greg's ever going to have you on the show.
No, and that's the thing is when he said that, I was like, well, I don't hate them that much.
Okay, it's all
I know
st-
Chunga hates them too. So
it's all
maybe,
starting to
maybe
make
you've just
sense.
been poisoned now, Kent.
Yeah, maybe.
I think I was...
Kent does have a weak mind. He can be, kind of willed into things.
Oh, having my own opinion. Weird that I don't like the radio play songs they play again and again. That's strange. I have my own opinion.
Kent, that's the reason
So,
you
Oh
run the
Brother,
same-
Where Art Thou? I feel like when they do the lip syncing in the movie, and maybe that's what took me out, I think it was so poorly timed. Like, you never once believe that George Clooney is singing in this movie.
It's old-timey. It's charming.
It's charming? It's made in
charming.
2000.
They could have made it sound better. They could have made it look better, but they didn't because they wanted it to be hokey.
Really?
Yeah.
They could have made it look like it was actually matching their lips in the
No,
movie.
they're
Maybe the
obviously
actor was-
hamming it up as they're singing
Yeah,
it.
they made it feel like it was in the 30s or whenever it was.
whenever it was.
I think it was the 30s.
Yeah.
20s?
Leave it in the past. That's
No,
what
30s.
I say.
30s,
Yeah,
because it's
Depression
depression.
era.
Depression.
And here's the thing. I actually don't like this song because I did see it a lot in Provo in that 1 year I lived there. And I basically judged everyone who had it. And I think I have bad connotations
So
with
you
those
never
people.
liked it? Isn't that
sounds
one
about
that
right.
like you started hating after it got popular?
I never actually liked the movie at all. And that kind of led into everyone owning the score and
One of my
soundtrack
favorite
and being
Coen
like,
Brother movies.
ugh. For me, it's like Burn After Reading and this one are kind
It's
of the same.
above. It's above Big Lebowski for me.
Okay, I could see that for you.
Yeah.
You're wrong, but I could see it for
Raising
you.
Arizona, Hudsucker Proxy, Oh Brother Where Art Thou? Probably
In
my
that
top
order?
three. Probably my top three.
But which is weird because I really like Inside Llewyn Davis, and it has the same kind of like
still need
folksy
to see
feel
that.
of that one, of this one. But I do think it's
But
a much better
hipster.
movie.
It's a weird
Much more
movie.
hipster than Oh Brother. Oh Brother's pretty hipster.
No, according to Inside Llewyn Davis.
Inside Llewyn Davis,
Yeah, sure.
which is a much better movie.
Whatever.
Okay.
I haven't seen it. It's in my queue.
I watched half, I fell asleep, but I have a full opinion on it.
Okay, says the guy who walked out of Transformers because he didn't want to watch it.
I had to use the restroom,
and then
Joel.
didn't want to go back in.
I didn't want to,
You can't,
but I did.
you can't have an opinion on it. You missed that 10 minutes.
I actually left during an action scene because I knew I wouldn't miss anything during Transformers action scenes.
All right, move along. We got a lot of show to get
Is there
through.
Am I
any
wrong?
part
Am I
that you're going to
wrong?
miss out on?
Let's get through these last couple.
Yeah, all right. Soundtrack that people bought for one song, but the rest are meh.
Well, I wouldn't even say meh, but they bought it for the one song and didn't really care what else was on the
Right.
album.
You are not going to recognize this song for 4 seconds. In fact, I cut off about 20 seconds off the beginning.
Is this the Bad Boys album again?
Get ready.
I know you love that one.
You won't know it for about 4 seconds, and then you're going to know it by heart.
I'm waiting. Yeah.
There you go.
Land Before Time.
One shot. One opportunity.
If we hold on forever.
Yeah, there it is.
Just let it slip.
Oh, man.
Yo.
Mom spaghetti. Mom spaghetti. Mom
You're a rapper.
spaghetti. Mom spaghetti. There it is. I got this Mom spaghetti.
Oh, man.
So it's 8 Mile. Jake, have you seen this movie?
I've seen, like, I ended up watching the end of it for some reason, but that's it.
Okay. Did you see this movie, Joel?
I haven't seen this movie, but I like that song. And I don't like Eminem that much. I think he's a
everyone
jerk.
likes this song. It's a good song.
But it's inspiring. Like, you hear this, you're like, yeah,
And it's really funny that like this
take my moment.
right when this movie came out, everyone's like, Marshall Mathers is actually a very good actor. Did he go into any movie
Did
after
anyone
this?
really call him Marshall Mathers when they said it?
No. They probably-
Okay.
Or does he have a real name, or is it really Marshall Mathers?
I think it is Marshall
It
Mathers.
is Marshall Mathers.
Is
yeah.
it? Or is that just another
I'm
fake
looking
name?
it up.
No, it's Marshall Mathers, and that's where Eminem came from, because originally it's supposed to be Eminem,
M.
and then that evolved into Eminem.
Marshall Bruce Mathers III.
Yeah.
The third?
That's really what it is.
Esquire? The
Marshall,
third?
born October 17th, 1972 in St. Joseph, Missouri.
In a
Can you do it in the
trailer.
Godfather voice?
Marshall Bruce Mathers III.
No, you need the music in the background to make that work.
I like how Jake was the one to give us the brief history on Marshall Mathers.
That's kind of weird.
And his name.
But no, I agree. Great song.
But you know, there's the 50.
What else is on that soundtrack?
50 Cent is on the soundtrack.
you're
There's
saying it
also
properly.
Fiddy.
50.
Cent.
And there is some of the freestyle raps in the movies, but honestly, they're not good. I listened to them today, and maybe it's because I'm not a fan of rap, but people bought this for that one song.
But it doesn't matter if you like rap or not. That song, like,
that song is
Yeah.
great. And Mom's spaghetti is always delicious.
so it was on your sweater because you vomited it already. I went maybe a little more traditional, a little more calm.
Makes sense. Yes.
Oh, you know it, Jacob. You know it. Okay, this is I've Had the Time of My Life from Dirty Dancing by Bill Medley and Jennifer Warnes, which, by the way,
It's not Peebo Bryson or Luther Vandross?
No, but I heard those names and I'm like, I don't know who those people are. Do you know who they are? Mm-mm. Bill Medley is one half of the Righteous Brothers.
Oh.
I had no idea. And Jennifer Warnes, she sang, what's that one from Officer and Gentleman? Up Where We Belong with Joe Cocker. And she's also the singer in the theme song for Growing Pains.
Really?
So you
Yes.
don't
Of
like the
course
rest
he
of this
chose
album?
I love this woman. Because she did Growing Pains. No, but this I had a girlfriend who was obsessed with this movie and the
she
soundtrack.
listens.
And so, yeah.
Checks her out, right?
But this song is great. Fantastic. But I also did like some other songs. Like they had Stay by Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs. She's Like the Wind by Patrick Swayze singing on
Yeah,
there.
how could you say this is the only one?
Yeah, that's
No,
right.
but
She's
no,
Like the
it's not
Wind
the
on
only
this
one.
album.
The whole point was they bought it for the one song because they bought it for the one song. But there are other good
He
songs
said the
on
rest
there.
are meh.
No, that's what he said. Remember, and I
That
corrected
was
him.
that's the name of the category.
It's the name.
No, on the thing it says soundtrack that people bought for one song.
But the rest are meh.
That must have been added after,
But
and I
the rest
copied
are
it
meh.
off.
Someone didn't follow instructions.
It was Kent because he chose a TV show. But
I have another one.
But my favorite, aside from I've had the time of my life, was actually
This show is long.
you don't
Thanks,
own me
Jake.
by the Blow Monkeys.
With what?
You don't own
Oh, yeah.
me. That was a great one. But this, I just think it's a fantastic soundtrack overall. But I think people bought it because of that one song and they one iconic moment, even though the movie is a horrid piece of trash.
Dude.
We got that out there at least.
Yep. Not a fan of the movie. Soundtrack's good. Maybe that's why I chose this one, Jacob.
Maybe. What is the soundtrack or score that you want to listen to when you're trying to write your novel?
When I'm writing my novel, I want to be in the zone. And that's why I chose this. You might not know this one.
Time of my life.
Let it wash over you. Like a bunch of star waves.
Interstellar, probably.
Close.
Really?
This is Star
Galaxy
Waves
Quest.
from Oblivion.
Oblivion.
Yes,
Okay.
the new Tom Cruise movie, and it was composed by the electronic band M83.
Is it M83 or M83?
I don't know.
I
Actually,
M83
Or
is what I do.
is it Mate 3?
I would say M83.
Let's say Mate 3.
M83.
Let's not say that. But
M83.
the movie, I like this movie. I thought it was good. But the soundtrack, I remember I was like, I'm really liking this soundtrack. And then when I found out it was
It's very
M83, I went and looked it up and I was listening to
I
it.
don't even know what you're talking about when you say M83.
M83.
Oh, Mate 3.
Oh, okay.
Mater.
It's Mater 3.
Mater 3.
Why are we talking about that?
Cars 3. But they worked with, it's the same director that did Tron Legacy, and he worked with Daft Punk, and it went really well there.
Joseph
And so-
Kosinski.
Yes, and so he wanted to do this kind of the same electronic
John
feel with this
Krasinski?
one. But this one
Theodore
has
Kaczynski.
an ethereal, dreamlike feel almost through the entire soundtrack that you really can kind of just relax, and it helps you be able to write. And I think it helps prevent writer's block, honestly. So if you haven't seen the movie, that's fine. You can still listen and enjoy the soundtrack to Oblivion by MA3.
Speaking of Star Waves, I chose Interstellar. This is no surprise.
I want to point out that he's picked Inception and Interstellar on the show. Which Nolan show have you not picked a score for yet?
The Dark Knight Rises
We'll get
and The
to
Dark
them.
Knight.
So that's part 3.
Yes, actually, I've been saving them. I have other categories I want to put them in. This one for me, I actually listened to quite a bit because, as you can hear from the song, it kind of just it builds on itself. And for me, it's like I need something a little bit inspiring, mostly quiet that can fade into the background. But when it builds at times, I mean, that will really kind of make me feel like, I don't know, like
Takes you to the 5th dimension.
it takes me to the 5th dimension. Like, let's say there's like this big action scene or something like that. It's like some moments in this movie, they're so big and purposely loud.
Yeah,
that's
with
what
the
is
waves,
interesting about
the big
this
waves
movie.
planet, I
The big,
remember.
you know, a lot of people had a problem with this soundtrack or the score playing over some dialogue in the movie, but that was purposeful by Hans Zimmer. Like, it was like,
Sure it was.
how was it not? Like, the guy mixes his own music,
He
and
might have been drunk that day on the keyboard.
he might have been drunk and he just turned it up too high.
I need it louder.
But the thing was, actually, at times the music was more important than what was being said because it was just like any soundtrack and score music. It displays the emotion, and that's what I love about this. And yeah, it's phenomenal. I mean, this is a close second to Inception.
It's actually
but
a darn good
Inception is
soundtrack.
A little more solid all the way through.
I'm not gonna bash on anything made by Hans Zimmer probably because I just really think he's got some
good.
Wagner-esque power to him.
Next category is the soundtrack. No, actually, the best hipster composer score soundtrack.
Hipster. So this is our hipster pick.
Yeah, hipster pick.
So it can be a hipster soundtrack, hipster score, hipster composer.
So it's basically
Basically any of the ones we
8
do
out
already.
of 10 that you've already said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I don't think so. Like, you can't say James Horner, you can't say Hans Zimmer, even Danny Elfman. Or are we just nerds? Are we just nerds?
You're just nerds, yeah.
All right.
We're a little bit nerds.
All right, so my pick, of course, I went for...
Notice how I didn't say we there. I just said you.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
dare
I'll
you.
own that. I went for a vocal song, which is the only vocal song. Actually, there's 2, sorry. but it's the most well-known track from this album, which probably no one really owns because the movie is really freaking weird, but everyone knows this song.
Mad World.
Automatically you knew it, right?
I know a guy who hated this because it wasn't true to the original version by Tears for Fears.
But it's better.
I like them both.
Yeah, I like them both too, but it's so beautiful.
This is much more melancholy. This is Donnie Darko?
Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
And so I went with the Donnie Darko soundtrack.
That's your hipster choice.
It is. Donnie Darko is one of those weird movies that I think came and went, but for me, I kind of hold a special place for it because, well, it was you do like it?
I don't like it.
I knew it. It was the introduction of Jake Gyllenhaal.
Harvey was too dark for him too.
Was it they didn't call him Harvey. Billy? What's the rabbit's
Frank.
name? Frank. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about the older movie.
Harvey, the Jimmy Stewart one.
Yeah,
Oh,
Jimmy
yeah.
Stewart.
Okay, gotcha.
But this one was composed. So that's Gary Jules sang that song, but it was composed by Michael Andrews, and he went for a lot of ambient noise. He actually said the film was pretty low budget, so my portion of the money was pretty thin. Like basically, they're like the director. He just said. Richard Kelly said, "Do whatever you can do. It's just
played a piano in a field or something."
Yeah, he says it's just you. I can't really give you much money. So he said I couldn't hire anyone. It was just me. I played everything. He's like the piano, the mellotron, the marimba, xylophone, organ, everything. And so it was just him.
Wasn't Mellotron the bad guy on Transformers?
It was. The Transformers 6, which is out this weekend. But it's a very cool, good soundtrack. It is
last weekend.
Really strange. Yes, last weekend.
Magic of podcast.
No, that was 5. 6 is now out this weekend.
Oh, wow. They're cranking those out.
Yeah, they really are. They love that China money.
Might as well be.
That's racist?
Maybe.
All right. My hipster pick is actually a compilation album, so Kent's not going to like it, but here it is.
I hate it because it's Blink.
How is this a hipster pick?
It's Green Day.
Oh, same thing.
Same thing, right?
Angus by Green Day.
Oh, Angus.
Angus is the movie. This is JAR, Jason Andrew Relva, and it's a compilation of album for a movie called Angus, which is a 1995.
So you're saying it's a hipster movie?
I want to read this. It's a 1995 American, British, German, French comedy.
Yeah.
It is a mess, and this is
just high school movie.
I hated this movie. I hated
awful.
it. But the soundtrack, it includes Weezer. It's got obviously Green Day. It's got Goo Goo Dolls. It's got Love Spit Love and Dance Hall Crashers. And I loved almost every song on this album. Like, this was like iconic 90s music, even if the movie was bleh, like really terrible. But funny story about this one. Weezer actually offered a song for this called Wanda, You're My Only Love. And they didn't like it because they felt it was a little, too on the nose for what the movie was. So they rejected it, and they chose another song, You Gave Your Love to Me Softly, which I really like.
It's a good song.
But apparently that hurt Rivers Cuomo's feelings pretty bad, and he wrote about it a lot and then talked about it when he released it on like a B-side album later on down the road.
That guy's so sensitive.
Hurt
He is very
his
sensitive.
feelings a lot.
Yeah. But some of my favorite tracks include Jack Names
Yeah.
the Planets and Kung Fu and Enough and Ain't That Unusual and Am I Wrong? I love all those songs, and I like the soundtrack a lot. Not a lot of people know about it because the movie was terrible and no one should know about it, but look up the soundtrack. I think you'll be taken back to the 90s.
Next category is the best soundtrack by one band or artist. All right, so Joel's going to say Armageddon.
I'm just getting into a string here.
And then
Wait.
Ken's
Oh, yeah.
going to say... Yeah. Oh. Souffle Stevens or whatever.
Yeah, it's actually Souffle Stevens.
Yeah, Souffle Stevens.
That's
It's
it.
the joy of it's Julia and Julia by Souffle Stevens.
Oh, God.
Nice.
Just bug both of us. This is another one. I'm just getting into string ones that Kent's not going to like, but I chose this one.
Like I wouldn't like the Beatles.
You don't like the Beatles because they're too mainstream.
What?
Everyone loves
Thanks
the
for
Beatles.
speaking for me, though.
Do you like the Beatles?
I like them.
I'm sure you do.
I do like them.
Anyway, so the movie Help. If you didn't know,
was a reserve.
There's a movie
I
called
like
Help. Yeah, I heard it too.
Oh my gosh.
But because Hard Day's Night was their first musical movie that they had an album for and a movie for, but Help I feel has the better songs than Hard Day's Night, and I also like the movie more.
It's a better movie.
We used to watch this movie all the time, and if you haven't watched the movie about this, it's about a cult that sacrifices people that wear a special ring, and Ringo somehow gets the ring on his finger, and then they're chasing after him and trying to sacrifice him. And it's done very in kind of a Marx Brothers, like spy spoof kind of movie. But, I mean, when you think of iconic Beatles songs, here's just some of the songs from Help. Obviously Help, Ticket to Ride, Yesterday, You've Got to Hide Your Love Away, You're Gonna Lose That Girl, Act Naturally, It's Only Love, and Dizzy Miss Lizzie. Like, this really is just a great album by itself. And when you realize it's also the soundtrack to this movie, it makes it even more iconic. And so I feel like there was a couple other options out there. I was like, well, maybe this one, but this one felt so pure as to like, this is all by one band and one artist. There's no other composer here. There's no other writer here. It's the band. And that's why I chose Help.
All right.
Of course, I went with Hipster because you know me, but it's from one of my. This is going to sound weird, but probably a movie that's in my top 30 movies of all time, which I know that sounds super strange, but I do rank these movies that way.
I totally guessed wrong. I thought you were going to pick something else.
What'd you think?
I thought you were going to pick Purple Rain.
Oh, no.
Purple Rain.
Did I pick Purple Rain?
Purple. It's by Prince. Everything's by Prince.
Mine is from... The artist is Amy Mann. The soundtrack is Magnolia.
Oh.
Came out in 2000.
He is going full hipster.
It is.
It's what I do.
Magnolia.
Have you seen Magnolia?
Tom Cruise?
Yeah, Tom
Yeah,
Cruise
Tom
plays
Cruise,
a very
frogs.
supporting role. Frogs are in it. I don't actually want to ruin too much, but it's one of those ensemble dramas where everything kind of crosses. It's like Crash.
Say ensemble dramas 20 times fast.
Ensemble drama. Ensemble. Nope, can't do it. It's like Crash, but biblical.
Okay.
And good.
So multiple storylines with plagues and motivational speakers.
Yes. And Philip Seymour Hoffman is in there
Right.
as a nurse. No, but so Amy Mann did this one. It starts off with her version of One is the Loneliest Number and just carries off from there. In fact,
She did the entire soundtrack?
she did. There's two other songs that they stole or just borrowed just because they fit in the movie, but it's all Amy Mann. In fact, Paul Thomas Anderson said he made this movie based on Amy Mann's music. And you can tell when you're watching. It's very strange.
Should I watch that
very
one?
moody. I think you should. It does get weird at the end and kind of loses it. But it's great. In fact, I know you love musical numbers when they don't really fit in a movie. And there's one point in this movie where the characters sing her song called Wise Up. And it kind of rotates through the characters. And they're singing her song. It doesn't fit, but it's kind of a beautiful moment.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
I'm more interested in the soundtrack than the...
It's very good. Very, very good. Amy Mann is very somber as an artist and definitely hipster, but great as well.
Was the soundtrack you used to love, but don't anymore? Now it's Bad Boys.
Yes.
Now it's Purple Rain.
I used to love buying...
Purple Rain. Purple Rain.
I used to love buying, like, in the 90s, soundtracks for really dumb comedies.
Dumb and Dumber.
And so
That was a good soundtrack.
Hey, yeah. Peter Pumpkinhead.
And
But he made
Yeah.
too many enemies.
was that Pearl Jam?
Kind of.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's the guy from Crash Test Dummies.
So let me see if you can guess this one.
You might recognize this song as performed by Jefferson Airplane.
That's Jim
Oh my
Carrey.
goes, this is the cable guy.
This is the cable guy.
I used to like this soundtrack.
Yeah, I owned this one.
Don't you want
Yeah, so it's gonna build
Yeah.
into the song.
It's my turn.
But this soundtrack
When the
has
truth
half
is
actual music and then half Jim Carrey monologues.
Really?
What?
It's because you know how soundtracks used to like
because
the
you love
comedy
Jim Carrey
bits.
monologues.
I'm just
so much?
confused because I thought you never liked Jim Carrey.
I used to a lot.
Yeah.
In fact, I actually have some sort of appreciation for Cable Guy. I don't know why.
Out of all his movies?
Out of all of his movies.
That's
Well,
because
no,
that's the
no,
least
no.
loved.
Like, if we're talking Truman Show versus Cable Guy, like, that's no contest.
Even of his comedies, like Cable Guy's like right down there with Me, Myself, and Irene.
No, I disagree. There's a little bit more to it. Ben Stiller directed this one. I haven't watched it for 20 years, and there's probably a good reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I owned this soundtrack, and like Somebody to Love, I thought was a really cool song.
It is.
And then it also has the Primitive Radio Gods going, I've been downhearted, baby. I've been downhearted,
great
baby.
No, I love Standing Outside a Broken Phone.
Yeah,
with
that's
Money in My
the
Hand.
one.
I love that song.
And I used to listen to this all the time.
That's on the soundtrack?
It is.
Crap.
But guess
We
what?
should do a whole show on these songs.
Yeah.
Maybe a tournament.
Yeah.
Actually, it has Silverchair, Cracker, Filter, and Toadies.
Cracker. Load? Low?
Yeah, low. And I would probably never listen to this again.
What Toady song?
Unattractive.
Nice.
It's actually not a bad song,
Yeah, sounds like a pretty good album.
but it's half Jim Carrey monologues, and nobody needs that.
It's like an Adam Sandler album.
It feels that way.
For mine that I used to love and I don't really anymore, it's not this song. I will repeat. It is not the song. It is the album.
He hates this song now.
Well, it's not this song, but you know what?
I recognize it, but naming it is a totally different game.
Like it's Batman.
It's Batman and Robin.
Oh.
Because I love...
No, hold on. We talked about how good this was.
No, we talked about how much we loved The End is the Beginning is the End, and the
Okay,
Beginning
you're
is the End
right.
is the Beginning.
You're right.
The two songs by Smashing Pumpkins that bookend this album, yeah, great. But then in the middle, you get R. Kelly, Arcana, you get Foolish Games by Jewel, Goo Goo Dolls, R.E.M., Bone Thugs and Harmony, and then Smashing Pumpkins. But
What's wrong with all those?
It's not a good album. Like, I bought it for the end is the beginning is the end, which is the faster one. And I love that one. And even this, like, it's supposed to be a theme for Batman, but it doesn't feel like it's like a cheap knockoff of Braveheart.
It does feel like yeah.
Or of Danny Elfman's theme.
Brought that back around 45 minutes later.
But I remember like, a bunch of these went top hits. Like, obviously Foolish Games is really big, and then you're like, that's from Batman and Robin. And then R. Kelly's Gotham City also reached charts. But this, it's not a good album. I used to like it a lot more. I still like those songs, but I kind of replaced them with Watchmen in my head, so it makes them, easier.
Best electronic score soundtrack.
Joel, do you want to play this one, or should I play this one?
Let's play it at the same time.
Ready?
3,
set,
2,
go.
1.
You gotta have this at some point.
What? What are you doing?
No?
What is this?
Ken, you don't know this?
Okay, so stop yours.
Okay, hold on.
Pause. I think I chose the better portion of the
come
score.
on.
Come on, this is way more iconic and makes you think about the movie.
This is the only single from that album.
There had singles on the album?
Yeah.
You guys are such nerds.
We're like, Joel, I know it's a great album, and I know we chose the same thing.
Oh, yeah. So this is obviously American Telephile Goes West. And this is
Tron Legacy.
Tron Legacy.
There's no other.
Kent, turn yours off. I want to play mine some more. I had it at 15 seconds, just so you know. Here we go. Come on, Derezed?
Yeah, D-Rest is good.
Derezed is great. They had a music video for this and everything.
That's okay.
You don't like it.
I like mine better.
Oh.
Of course I do.
Of course you do. Well, as soon as we said that we were going to do... I can turn mine off if you want now, Kent.
You're good.
Okay, we'll keep talking then. But as soon as we said electronic, I think both Kent and I kind of went, well, it's got to be Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
Because this whole soundtrack, beginning to end, is great. I mean, they have the fast, pumpy ones like this one, like Derezed, and then they have the beautiful ones like, what was yours called?
The Grid.
The Grid. Oh, man. Good stuff.
So good.
Like, even though the movie, beautiful. I love the look of the movie. Not a great movie.
Isn't it a bummer that wasn't better just to match this soundtrack?
Because the
Really is a
soundtrack
bummer.
and the look are fantastic.
Yep.
This is obviously composed by Daft Punk. And
With
it has,
an 85-piece orchestra.
yeah, and 30 tracks on the album. This is a bulky soundtrack, but it's great from start to finish. Like, you can just put this on and just go with it, and act like you're riding light bikes or throwing light discs or light stuff.
Or pump your fist in the air like you are right now.
I'm dancing over here.
Yes. Little fist bumps.
No, but I like Daft Punk was very humble, and they said, "Look, there's no way we're going to get away with this with just two synthesizers and a drum machine. We need more." So they brought in the orchestra to kind of make it take hold, and it worked perfectly.
You mean two guys who hide behind robot masks are humble?
Yeah.
Don't want to be seen?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
They're like Sia. They're like the Sia of France. Anyway,
Let's talk about Sia.
so yeah, we both agree. We agreed on one. Tron Legacy. Listen to it.
You almost agreed.
Well, we did.
We still
the same
disagreed
soundtrack
while agreeing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could have picked almost any song on there, but I felt Derezed was the most iconic.
All right,
that was
fellas.
great.
2 more. This is the one that gets you into the zone while working.
I just want to say right now, I cheated. I completely cheated again.
TV.
Please don't be mad. It's a TV one.
Oh, come on.
What?
I know this. You know this.
Sherlock?
Just listen.
I know this. What is this?
Oh, gosh, I know this really well. What is this?
Oh my gosh, what is this?
I can, picture stuff right now.
I just want to let it keep playing because I love this.
What is this?
Now, it's not the most
Oh, I
memorable.
know. Pretty Little Liars.
You know Pretty Little Liars?
He loves it.
What do I know this. Like, I've pulled up this track specifically. Can you give me a hint?
Yeah,
Yeah. But if I give you a hint,
it's over.
I'll just say this.
Give me a hard hint.
Fish fingers and custard.
Oh, it's Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who season 5.
That's what it
Also,
is.
That's not a
This
hard
one
hint.
is
This is
kind of-
I Am the Doctor?
I Am the Doctor by Murray Gold.
Yes.
This one also isn't cheating because it was on Day of the Doctor, which was a theatrical release
was
in
theatrical
2014. And so
You and your loopholes, you sneaky devil.
found a loophole.
It was released in... Okay, that's a movie.
Murray Gold, he did a few themes early with like the reboot of Doctor Who or the revival, but it was really when Matt Smith took over that he started doing like big epic themes, and actually became great. Like if you're ever at work and you're bored, just pull up like Doctor Who season 5 soundtrack.
It's
or
a good
whatever.
soundtrack.
That's in the season 5 premiere too.
Whenever
Yes.
that music kicks in, because as soon as you started playing it, I was like, it's like building up to something.
Yes.
Like when it's like something really cool is about to happen, that music will kick in. And I immediately was thinking that when it played, but I couldn't think of where it came from.
And so this one really gets me into the zone while working. Like it kind of, much like writing a novel, it inspires me to just go big. Like when those big musical notes, I'm like, done.
Dun, 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 dun. Man, I got to listen to that now.
Yeah.
Okay. And mine for In the Zone is...
Indiana?
No. It's Alan Silvestri.
Oh, yeah, I know. Back to the Future.
Back to the Future is correct. This is the main theme from Back to the Future, and this is a great song to work to because it sounds stupid, but it's true. It makes me feel like I'm like racing the clock. Like I gotta finish this. I gotta get, it's the whole time thing like that. But the score by Alan Silvestri is brilliant, and they did release a later version where they had just the score. But the original soundtrack has the score, and then it also has like The Power of Love and Back in Time by Huey Lewis and the News, Earth Angel, and Johnny B. Good. Like all those songs you love and know
Very
from
good
the movie.
Good choice.
Thank you. And Power of Love became Huey Lewis and the News' first band, the first song to hit number 1 on the Billboard Top 100. And it was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Original Song, but lost to Lionel Richie's Say You, Say Me. But I think they should have won.
What's that from?
I can look it up. Yeah,
Cocoon.
Cocoon.
Cocoon, guys.
Cocoon.
Cocoon.
For the film White Knights.
Okay.
Obviously.
It's racist.
I have never heard of this
Probably
movie.
is,
What
actually.
is this movie?
But it's a great song.
Shot in Finland,
If it was
Portugal?
Black Knights, it wouldn't be racist though.
That's a Martin Lawrence movie.
It's a dancing movie. I have no idea. Oh, it's a ballet dancing Russia movie.
Okay. So are we on to our final category?
All right. So,
Jake can't wait.
are you ready?
He's been yawning so much.
The clock's working against me here.
Like Back in Time.
The final category is
What is it?
your guilty pleasure soundtrack. It can't really be a score, though. How do you have a guilty pleasure score? It has to be a
You
soundtrack.
can have a soundtrack or a score.
All right. I bet this is a soundtrack, though. Guilty
Is it
pleasure
me first, then?
soundtrack.
Oh, it is me first. Well, I'm not ashamed of a lot of things that I like. Like, actually, when Kent, we were talking about this, he's like, I can't wait to hear Josie and the Pussycats. And I was like, dang it.
Yeah. Because
I forgot about that
you
one.
unabashedly love Josie and the Pussycats.
I think it's a really entertaining and funny movie. And it has good songs, even though they're not really singing.
No.
High School Musical.
My guilty pleasure, it really shouldn't be a surprise if you know me, but I don't know. There's something weird about liking this, but here you go. Crying hard as babe could cry.
I think because you live in Utah
What could I
and you were a kid in
do?
the 80s, this should... I mean, it's a guilty pleasure, but it's not. Because everyone feels this way.
Oh, yes. But is it a guilty pleasure the fact that I can sing along with this song, The Fire Gang?
At that point, yes.
I can do entire scenes with every character, like recite them from heart because I love this soundtrack and I love this score. So David Bowie did do most of the songs on here, including Magic Dance, Chilly Down, As the World Falls Down, Within You. Also, Trevor Jones put some score music into it too. By the way, Chilly
Love this
Down.
song.
Guess who sings Chilly Down?
No idea.
Kevin Clash and Danny John Jules, also known as Elmo, the voice of Elmo, and Cat from Red Dwarf. Like those, the Fire Gang.
Weird.
That's them. Those guys are doing some of the voices. And actually, David
This isn't
Bowie,
guilty enough. I want something more shameful.
I'm not ashamed of a lot of things, but when I go around singing Magic Dance to people, and then
It's when you wear those pants.
you remind me of the Babe.
Those
These pants?
That when you're... Don't do that. Don't
I have
do that
my
gesture.
dance belt on, Kent.
It's when you're going commando in those
Watch me
pants.
float this crystal around.
Is that what he calls it?
But David Bowie's approached to do this soundtrack, and he actually wanted to do a children's soundtrack. That was kind of one of the goals he wanted to do. And he saw a movie of The Dark Crystal and decided, yes, I would like to do a movie similar to that.
I'm glad he did, because look what happened.
It's amazing.
Labyrinth. All right, you ready for mine?
Let's hear it.
I had a certain song chosen, and then I listened to our last
It's
podcast.
Guardians of the Galaxy, Joel. Guilty
Ready?
pleasure.
Ooh, good
I
check.
secretly love this.
So I had to choose a different track because, man, I love this one song, but I actually closed off our Soundtrack and Feels Part 1 with this song. So I went with a different one, but from the same soundtrack.
Shrek 2?
Seriously.
Shrek 2.
Wait, you closed out the show with this?
I actually closed it with Holding Out for a Hero, and I was going to play that again.
But I thought it was from Footloose.
It was, but I still chose the Bonnie Tyler song to play.
Huh.
And I wish I would love to do it again. I'll play Holding Out for a Hero right now. Because
you picked Shrek 2 twice?
No, I chose Footloose before.
Okay.
With Holding Out for a Hero.
Okay.
And Jennifer Saunders sings it in the Shrek 2 soundtrack.
Yes.
The whole soundtrack, half the soundtrack is really good. And I bought this one for a girlfriend at the time. Shrek 2. Why would I buy a Shrek 2 soundtrack?
That is funny.
But you know what?
See, that, Joel, is a guilty pleasure.
Hey, we all have different...
But it's pretty good. Like Counting Crows, it's like a fun song.
It is.
The thing is, I'm not ashamed of anything, Jacob. Kent is.
Yeah. Shrek 2. Yeah. But I will say the Holding Out for a Hero version in the movie is pretty epic as well.
It is epic. I mean, that's just an epic song.
Yeah.
That's a great
So,
song.
It is.
Shrek 2 is my guilty pleasure. And I like
That
DreamWorks
is
more than
funny.
Pixar.
Wow.
Man, he just threw that in
drops
there.
that in there.
I wanted to because we had a behind the scenes conversation.
Oh,
All right, so there you go.
There you go.
Wow. All right, well, listener, if you have any other suggestions for categories or things, if you want to see another Tier 2 show, Part 3, you send us your category suggestions.
Ouch.
And I guarantee you these guys will want to do it.
All right. Well, if you want to find me, you can find me at 76Joel on Twitter, or you can also find me at Quick Wits. They perform every Saturday night at the Midville Performing Arts Center. For more details, go to qwcomedy.com or go to the Quick Wits Facebook page.
If you want to find me on Twitter and Instagram, it's at Kenny3DD. If you want to see my movie reviews, it's ShowtimeShowdown.com.
You can find me on Twitter at Jacob A. Rogers. Hope you all have enjoyed all the music. This takes a lot of work to edit this, and it is pretty fun to listen to, I think, with all the
thanks,
music
Kent.
and all the singing, especially.
Yeah.
Also, find Baconsale on Twitter at Baconsale.
Exactly. And, sometimes it may feel like we're asking a lot of you, the listener. I mean, we ask you to rate us and review us on iTunes or follow us on social media or buy our merchandise. But the truth is, the only thing we want to do is only want to see you listening to our podcast. Yeah. Baconsale, Baconsale. Everybody, sing along with me, guys. Baconsale, Baconsale. I can't hear you, Kent. Sing along at home. Sing along if you're in the car. It's okay. Baconsale, Baconsale. I like that. That was good. That was good. Here we go.
Was not expecting
We
this.
hope you like this episode about soundtracks and scores.
So
I did that while watching Power Rangers last night.
You good? The devil! He's just so dang gifable.
I don't know, but I'm very jealous of that. I want to beat someone up. Who does gimmies on the show?
You do.
Exactly. You got to go with your hipster pick.
All right.
I'm mainstream. You're hipster.
We both like my mind.
Hey, my father, the hero, is one of the most greatest movies ever.
It's the best Dare campaign ever.
It's Guardians 2.
I thought it was kind of a knockoff Braveheart. Do you know what The Patriot is? It's a cheap knockoff of Braveheart.
You know what Forrest Gump is?
Yeah, what?
Cheap knockoff of Braveheart.
Inside jokes on Baconsale, doo-da, doo-da. Na-na-na-na-na, hey, I'm bear. Checking people out. Or not checking people out.
Yeah, you were.
You totally were.
You were singling BYU.
Kicking people out.
You were checking people out while the movie was on. So.
That was the music.
She was like, why are you checking me out?
Yeah.
Why'd you just stamp my back?
Explore this, Jacob.
All right. It's actually a thing I do before bed.
That's how I feel, Jacob. And every time I start kind of imagining in my head what's happening, I start to get a little watery-eyed. And I hate it. Because I may actually cry. Your eyes just watered. Shut up.
I've had lots of surgery to make this not a problem, Joel. Thanks a lot.
I think it looks splendid.
Thank you. Thank you. You can't even tell.
I'm beautiful yet heart-achingly sad. Wow, this is wildly inappropriate at this part.
Like, what do you mean? Cocoon.
Cocoon.
And of course.
Cocoon,
Yeah,
guys.
Cocoon.
Wasn't it nice being kids when you didn't really know what swear words were?
I'm going to be Robin Hood. Why did you kill him?
I'm the one that kills people, Jake. I am.
It's you now.
Read my funny words. That's all I want.
Put my hipster glasses on now. Can I borrow your hipster glasses?
Yeah, here you go.
Thank you. And your beret. I liked Hooked on a Feeling before any of this happened. Like, this
Those
group
late
of
lyrics
around-
always get to go to regional. I had to go there.
No, you didn't.
I did go there, though.
You didn't
did.
have to.
I feel like this created Mumford & Sons, and for that, it should be punished and burned.
If they created Mumford & Sons, God bless them.
I don't hate Mumford & Sons.
They love that China money. And so...
You and your loopholes, you sneaky devil. I love this woman. I usually cry after we've done recording.
You did a terrible job, Joel.
Shut it off.
Terrible.
Shut off the mic.
I'll
Where's
be
my
Kim's.
cry pillow?